Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday live stream. So, ton of stuff to go over. Let's just jump right into it. So, 77K. What a bummer. Well, I mean, not really. Let's be honest. On this channel, I haven't had a high conviction of things turning around and being super bullish. I've always believed in 4-year cycles, and I can kind of see how things are reemerging as the same thing. Yes, there's some obvious differences as a 4-year cycle. I mean, we've hit all-time high, before the last 4 years, and then the 4 years before that, we had an all-time high before the halving. And then, of course, time frames have been a little bit different. But if we just take a look at the times from the top of the top to the next top, it's pretty much the same thing. And today is just the day as I thought I would kind of do this stuff. I mean, we're at 77K, and I don't see any reason why we stopped there. We had a fall off the cliff of gold and silver. Historically speaking, that's been a very slow-moving asset class to move to where it's supposed to go. And we had a parabolic move to the upside, and what goes up eventually must go down, and that's pretty much where we're at. And then, of course, with that, we would see a little bit more of other markets getting liquidated, because there's only one market that's open 24/7, 365 to help out if you've lost a lot in your leveraged longs. It's digital assets. So right now we're at 77,421. Maybe it's rebounded. Let me see. No, it went lower. 77,390. Not too bad. Not too bad. It's only $20, $31 or so. So you still got hope. Looking pretty good. But like as we talked before, is like these 4-year cycles. I mean, pretty much the first or second month into the next year, and I'm talking about like in 2017 we had an all-time high. 2018 was the big drawdown. 2021, we had an all-time high, and then 2022 was the big drawdown. And if we go all the way back, 2013 was the all-time high, and 2014 and 15 was the big drawdown. But in those first 2 months is when you lost a lot. And we're going to see here, I am yet again stealing information from Ben's website. If you want to sign up for it, 10% discount on the first month. Just saying, it's pretty great. And a lot of the stuff is actually free. Like I think this one's free, and the DCA tool is free. So links in the description. But look at this. So like when I got in November of 2017, this was the price, 8,200 and whatever it was. I think I bought it for 8,500. And I thought I was a genius. And then of course we get to December and it goes to 19,500. And everybody's like, ooh, it's going to keep going forever. John McAfee, remember him? Going to $1 million. Well, then for about like in the first month or so after that, in January, the drawdown within roughly a month went down 41%. And then if we go to February, you're looking at 58%, dropped off the face of the planet. And that, of course, goes from $20,000 to $8,000. Now, if we fast forward and we go into 2021, November 2021 was great times, 67,000, somewhere around here, I think. Yeah, we'll just say 64. No, 14th November, correct me in the comments. But for the highs, we're at roughly 67,000. And so in November, into the next year, into 2022, into January and February, you're looking at, negative 45, almost 50% from its all-time high. So you went from 67,000, and then you went to 36.8. And again, that's only like in the first month of the down year. And now, of course, here we are in 2026. And we had a nice little fat run there. And I think that was in October 6th, 124,000. And so far, we're only at 32% on 30th of January. So if we just go back and what happened back then, you could expect another, minimum 15 to 20% drop off. So 69K, I think someone said in the comment section, that's lenient, quite honestly. But, not just because it happened before, I mean, it's going to happen again. But these are the things I need to prepare you guys for, which I've been trying to do my best to tell you, like, look, it's going to suck for a bit. But if you have a long-term mindset and you're looking at dollar cost average, we've been talking about dynamically dollar cost averaging. And just last week, I made a quick change. Instead of doing every day, I'm doing every once a week. But it's the same amount. You can either buy like $10 a day or just some one day of the week. You say, okay, I'm saving it all up. I'm going to buy $70 today, and the best day is on Monday. And watch that video. I'll try to link it in the description. And all it just came down was from, let's see, best best day to DCA, Bitcoin. And of course, you would think, oh, when is it good? This chart looks pretty awesome. It's the highest. No, no, no. You want to buy low. So Monday, the average extension is 0.62. So if you just take a look at this, I just said, okay, Monday it is. So hopefully this keeps going down. And Monday, when my dollar cost averaging hits, or my segmented buy order on cash, it goes. We'll see what happens. That's just me. But that's what's going on in the markets. But why, Rob? Why is this happening? Just because it happened last time doesn't mean it's going to happen again. You're right. You're absolutely right. One of those reasons is because, again, gold sells off, silver sells off. I mean, massively. Those poor guys. I feel sorry for them. I do. We'll get into that. But we just had a massive amount of people getting wrecked. 24-hour wrecked was $2.5 billion. That's a bummer, huh? But if we take a look, I mean, it shouldn't be that bad. I mean, if we look at historically speaking, how bad are liquidations? I'm just kidding. It was really bad. So today, if you go back to November, just 90 days, this is one of the worst days we've had in quite some time. Is it the worst day? No. The worst day was October 10th, which you can see right here. And this was fun times. Well, it says 9th of October, but it spills out. This is when we had, it says 16 billion, but I've heard numbers all the way up to 18 billion in liquidations, because when you liquidate on certain exchanges, it only can count them, one per second. But there was multiple, 5, 10 accounts getting liquidated per second. Just everybody got liquidated. And, that's pretty bad. We shouldn't laugh at that. But you can see that over here, this was a pretty big day, historically speaking, right? I mean, not as bad as the 10th, but I mean, it's a little bit up there. So these things happen, things get liquidated, people get spooked, people start selling, people have to make up for the longs and the shorts, people have to deal with the gold and silver. And of course, there's a big sell-off in the traditional markets as well, because some companies, even though they made their predictions or their earnings predictions, they still got wiped. So a lot of bad things, or not bad things, I should say, just negative drawdowns are happening in the market. That's pretty much it. And then, of course, if we're talking about liquidations, let's talk about this big story. I don't know who this guy is, but apparently if you follow individuals who are trading on Hyperliquid, this is the guy. $500 million whale liquidated. I like to share these stories to remind people that if you do well, that's great, good for you. But just know that over time, the house will get you, and the casino usually wins. So $500 million whale liquidated. Garrett, I guess that's this guy. His name is Garrett Jin, J-I-N. 500 million leverage short on Hyperliquid, being liquidated for a $130 million loss. Wow. And this is, they say, triggering Bitcoin's plunge below 80K. I mean, I guess it helped. I don't think it really is. Jin is the former BitForex CEO, had netted over 150 million shorting crypto during October's 19 billion. Again, it was more like 80 billion liquidation wave. So he made out like a bandit on the 10th of October, and then he gives it all back. So that's just leverage, and that's the reason why I have these rules underneath me. These rules have been in place since 2022. And you can do it. I mean, leverage is not going to crush you at 2 or 3x, but when you do huge leverage plays, it's just, I think it's just a recipe for disaster. But so Godspeed to this guy, Jin. Hopefully he's not broke. I think he's going to be okay. But these things happen. And this is also another segment here for Jared Jin. I wanted to just verify that, yes, he did lose. And apparently he has a complete loss of 250 million. I apologize. It was double that. But the good news is he's got $53 left in his Hyperliquid account. That's $53, which can buy a lot of hot dogs at Costco, so he won't go hungry. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comment section. Have fun with that. And I just want to give a quick shout out to gold and silver bugs. Now, I own a very little amount of gold in my IRA. I don't have any silver. I wish I would have, But, gold and silver, as stable as they are, yesterday they dropped. This one says 10%. I've heard up to 13% that it was dropped, which is quite a big move for the gold and silver bugs. And I was kind of piling on, and I made a little joke. I can't use this as a store of value. It's too volatile. I mean, come on, 10% a day. That's a lot. And I said the same thing for silver. But I want to remind everybody that the gold and silver people aren't us. And I said, to be fair, silver and gold have been crushing it lately. Let's not pile on to these gentlemen and ladies as their absolute confusion and moment of disbelief is going. 10 to 30% drops in a day is an apocalyptic event for these guys. For us, it's just a Tuesday. Oh, in this situation, it was just a Friday. So, you know, sorry guys for silver and gold, but you know, that's the great thing about crypto. If you have ice in your veins and you've gone through this before, 10% drop, you're like, oh, that's a bummer. But anyhow, what's on TV? But that's pretty much how it is. So welcome to the fold, gold and silver guys. First time? Well, don't worry, you're going to have more opportunities for that. And you're going to hear stories like this. I don't know if this is real, but it was on X, so you know it should be 100% legitimate. Just kidding, but I bet you that there are somebody out here. This is from Jay. He says, today I liquidated all my assets. I sold all my stocks in my 401k and both my personal account and my trading account, and I bought silver. I'm now 100% the only known safe haven silver. And then, of course, he says, F my life. But this is probably just a spoof or a joke. But I can guarantee you there's a lot of people that were aping into silver towards the top, as they always do, and they're going to pay the price. So again, don't go chasing candles. Take it slow. Investments should be slow. It should be boring. But over the long haul, you'll be just fine if you just stick around. So Jay, good luck to you. And then to finish this off, I want to talk about a couple of things, which is market manipulation. I know we always talk about that in crypto, digital assets, but it's a really good X account, Bull Theory at Bull Theory IO. I need to link this in the description. But him or her, I don't know who it is, and then Walmart X, they made a pretty compelling case for spoofing of the markets and the manipulation of precious metal markets. And Bull Theory says silver is trading at 2 different prices at the same time. It's being heavily manipulated. In the US, silver is around 92 bucks, and of course yesterday was 77. In Shanghai, physical silver is around 130. It's a 40% premium. Same metal, 2 prices. This is exactly what manipulation looks like. I believe him, her. And then Wilmer X says silver dump was done by JP Morgan, which is funny enough because they were busted and got a fine of $92 billion for spoofing of the precious metal markets years ago. So wouldn't be surprised if that actually happens. And one more point, which is the Clarity Act, which is supposed to come in, which is supposed to eliminate this stuff. It will never eliminate this stuff. So if you think just a bill that is passed by Congress and then there'll be no more hanky-panky shenanigans here in crypto world, I got a bridge to sell you. So if it still happens in precious metals, it'll still happen in crypto, but hopefully to a lesser extent. Anyhow, Wilmer says, silver was done by JP Morgan. I got proof. Comex reports that JP Morgan closed at silver short around $78. That's a pretty good point. Which it went from 121 to 74, then settled around 78 bucks. That's the exact level. The timing isn't random. Connect the dots. This is why banks are in control. And that's pretty much it. That's why I like the DCA, because I don't know what the big boys are doing, and I'd rather just do it this way. On top of all this negativity for gold and silver, sorry I'm dwelling on this, but I need to make this point, which is it doesn't matter the asset class. There are still going to be fraudsters, there's still going to be manipulators, and there's still going to be things that go down that are negative, and it has nothing to do with the asset itself. We saw this in crypto and digital assets in 2022, when FTX, Voyager, Celsius, BlockFi, Luna, all these different projects collapsed. And the reason why they collapsed is because the bull run that was happening, it evaporated. And then everybody realized that the emperor has no clothes. And when that happens, it like pile on, and then everything starts to decrease, everything starts to get liquidated, and then all of a sudden you realize that, hey, there are some shenanigans going on in the background, just like this. A Chinese gold trading platform just froze $19 billion in assets. Thousands of investors can no longer withdraw their funds. Does that sound familiar to anybody? 2022, platform is offering 20% compensation of the initial capital. Does that sound like anybody? Binance, the owner is asking for time and claims he has been set up and or trapped. Sure it is, Sam Bankman-Fried. Shenzhen police are refusing to accept complaints. This is the same size as the FTX fraud. I'll keep you updated. All those people, kiss your investment goodbye. You're probably not going to get it back. And again, it's not the asset class. It is the people behind it that are screwing up the whole show. Anyhow, let me know what you think about that in the comments section. And 2 more things to go over. I'm here in Puerto Rico. Got to meet Kraken, which was great. Hung out with some friends, and we went to this Tokenized Puerto Rico 2026. And I stayed there for roughly 90 minutes. And I will just say that I was really had some high hopes for this one because I was really interested in the tokenization of real-world assets. I thought this is a pretty great sector to get into, especially with me being in real estate for a couple decades now. I thought it was great, and then I realized it was just a big sales pitch. And I know that if you were a part of that, good luck to you and P7X. But I thought it was going to be like a bunch of different not opportunities, but just projects that were working around that for tokenization of these things. And it really was just put on by T7X. And I was sitting there and I looked over at Krantz and I go, this is the longest sales pitch I've ever been in my life. I'm not paying $3,800 for a node, one. I'm not paying $3.8 million for a massive amount of nodes. And I just thought it was in poor taste, and it's not something that we need. Now, of course, anybody can do what they want to do, and this might be a fantastic project. I have no idea. But to get into this one, I was heavily disappointed in real-world assets and what was put on here. So I have no video to show you guys, even though I've been talking about going for quite some time. Sorry, just was what it is. And lastly, I guess we should, I just clubbed you over the head with a lot of negativity, and I apologize. Maybe we should do this. I'm gonna play this video. Yesterday we talked about Kevin Warsh. He is Trump's pick to replace Jerome Powell at the Federal Reserve. And we played a video, and I said this is I thought it felt very bullish. And then people there was kind of like a misconception of like, well, the thing that he said here, and of course it was a video from like years ago. Things that he said here is he was more of a hawkish stance, and I talked about how you can learn from the mistakes. But this was a video in October 2025 when he was on Fox Business. And he's talking about the administration, kind of, what the Fed needs to do. I want you to listen to this. It's about 2 minutes, and tell me if this guy's going to be hawkish or bullish coming in as the new Fed chair, if he can get confirmed in Senate. So just take a listen to this right now.
Economy is booming. And the question I have for you is, in a 4% economy, according to the Atlanta Fed, what kind of a monetary policy do we need to accommodate it properly?
So in 2 words, new management is I think what we need, Larry. Right. But you set me up for that, I think. So I think the reason commodities are down is, your point is right. The U.S. economy is booming. The global economy is not booming. The U.S. is taking huge market share, huge economic growth from the rest of the world, because the president's policies are hitting our economy first, and their policies look like the policies of the last 4 years. So commodities are down because these are global assets. The U.S. economy is doing great. President's policies are working. His policies are leading to stronger growth and lower prices. I wish I could say the same about the Federal Reserve. Their policies have led to something like stagflation. Their policies did a lot of harm, and the president has to dig out from those. The Fed's policies are working at cross purposes with the president's policies. Thankfully, the president's policies are so strong, they're doing it. So what about the Fed? What the Fed really needs to do is change their operating framework. They need to change their models. They need to change a lot of personnel. And in some ways, their policies need to be as focused on Main Street as President Trump's policies. If I look right now at what they're doing, their policies are quite good for Wall Street. They need to take their balance sheet down and redeploy that money to Main Street so that Main Street can have the strong economy that we're seeing in financial markets.
Why not? Why couldn't we take the target rate from 4 to 2?
So we can lower. We can lower interest rates a lot, and in so doing, get 30-year fixed rate mortgages so they're affordable. So we can get the housing market to get going again. And the way to do that is, as you say, to free up the balance sheet, take money out of Wall Street. Wall Street right now is booming. They don't need any extra help. They don't need excess money, but that excess money can go to Main Street, and that will give us room for lower interest rates. Lower interest rates with the kind of technology revolution the president's policies have permitted, the massive investment that's happening in the economy domestically and from foreigners. This is the seed corn for a productivity revolution. What worries me, and I suspect what worries the president, is the Fed's going to make its 6th or 7th big mistake in the last 6 or 7 years. They've got to allow that productivity and that technology to continue to lower prices instead of saying, oh my gosh, the economy is too strong, we better stop this.
Okay, I like what I heard. Let me know what you think about that in the comments. Let's get into a little Q&A. So look, if you like that part of the video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Now let's get into the most fun part of the show, let's be honest. We get to talk and get some questions answered. Let's get into it. Okay, so first of all, Rock Blaster says, I don't care how far we dive. My average cost is $27,000. I've been here for 5 years. Those is how you will start to feel as time goes on, the longer that you've been here. There's a reason, like, I mean, this is pretty much my response and demeanor for most of the market. I mean, I'll get a little exuberant as we like hit all-time highs and stuff like that, but when we go down, I'm kind of like, well, went down. And the reason is because I've been around here for so long, it doesn't really bother me too much. I think if we went to if Bitcoin drops to like $5 grand, $4 grand, I'd be like, this is kind of low. But at this point, that's how it is now. If this is your first cycle, I sympathize with you. I've been there myself. I didn't believe anybody after that. I really got ticked off at all the YouTubers that would say, I'm really happy it went down. I'm like, damn it, why are you so happy? They've been in here for a long time. So if that's you, just stick around. You're gonna like where you're gonna be. And usually if it was easy, everybody would be able to do it, but they don't. And that's why you're here. Okay. Marsh says, I'm only here because I love round trip. Yeah. Jan Hava says, oh, you mean actual utility. Sorry, Rob, got to wait till 2028 for that. And like this tokenized Puerto Rico, it was well put together, well done and everything else. But when they asked the very first question they asked, they said, who here is into crypto? And he looked around and it was like about 25% of the people raised their hands. He said, okay, who's here just in traditional finance and real estate? And it was everybody else. So I was like, oh, these people are in for trouble. Because if you're not here and then you hear all this jargon and you hear about there's this revolution and you're not too late and you can get into this and there's this node operator and this is a great product and it's decentralized, you're like, blah, 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 it's great. And you don't realize that, there's a lot of competition out there. And if you're talking about a new layer one, whew, that is a very tough industry to break into. Now it could work out great. But when I saw the numbers there, and I was like, this is not starting out too good. And then when we get into the pitch, I was like, I got to go. So yeah, it's a bummer. And like I said, maybe that product is going to be awesome. It looks like there's some good people behind it. But again, it's like every solid business that starts up. It's just a business. And businesses fail. Take a look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, Department of Business. It'll tell you small businesses on average, 5 years or less, 50 to 60% of those businesses fail. So layer ones are no different. Just take a look at CoinGecko. You can see all the different layer ones and how 98, 99% have already failed. So good luck to those guys. And that's it. We'll buy Bitcoin at 62K. Pretty good. I'll tell you, yeah, it'd be nice. Life is funna. Not even close to the floor. Here's my question, everybody. What do you guys think the floor is for this time frame in the cycle? Not this time, this month. Let's say the whole of 2026. Remember, we are in a midterm year. Democrats will probably take the House. And they will probably try to impeach the current president. And when that happens, it's difficult to get things kind of going through as far as the administration process and bills and legalities. And of course, most of the time the markets don't like ambiguity. So where do you think we stand for this year in 2026? Do you think it's banana super cycle zone, like some people do? Or do you think it's like, we'll probably just stay here? Or do you think it's like, okay, doomsday case XYZ number? I'm just curious. 65 should be the floor. I can see that. And Kale Princess, trading in my Lambo for a Toyota Tercel. To be honest with you, a Toyota Tercel has got great warranty and it's got excellent gas mileage. You can tell that I'm old because those are the things that I look for in a car. And a Lambo, do you know how hard it is to get into a Lambo with bad knees? Forget about it. Anyhow, double bottom of 15K. Damn, 35K. Well, I mean, in 2022, in November, we went to 67K. The absolute low point was in November 2022, and we went to 17,600, which was lower than the all-time high in the previous cycle in December of 2017 at 19,600. So if you go back to, then that would be not 125K, that would be going back to 67K. I still can see in the 50s, 35K seems quite low, especially since we didn't have the blow off euphoria top. It was quite tame. I'm not seeing like a 35K. Could I see it below 60K? That's pushing it, quite honestly. I think we're getting kind of closer. 35K again, who knows? Sold to $30. Let's hope so. XRP to 40 cents. I don't know. Rob, are you doubling down at risk levels or just to buy? That's a good question. It's a great question. Let me ask. Lone Wolf says, the possibility that seller doesn't sell for dollars because Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is money. You know, let's steal a little information from Ben's website, shall we? Nobody tell Ben. This is just between us. And let's see here. Dashboard, Bitcoin. Oh, you're right. John, you're right. And I must have muted this notification because I have the app, the end of the CRYPTOVERSE, and it's supposed to notify me. So below 0.4, I am quadrupling. Yeah, that's right. I'm quadrupling my buys. Thank you for reminding me. So on Monday, if this goes up above 0.4, I triple my buy of whatever. So if I usually buy 10 bucks a day, or in this case, 70 bucks a week, then I would have to double that to 140. Well, because I've already tripled, now I got to quadruple. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. So let's see. 0.3, 0.2. Yeah. So I'm thinking like a 5x down here at 0.275 around 61,000 is pretty much it. Yeah. See, I made the mistake last time of not buying heavy in 2022. I did this thing called miniature DCA or whatever the heck I called it, and it just didn't work out. So I know now that as price goes down and everybody's screaming that the end is near, the end is nigh. This is the time. But it could go lower. And if we take a look, not just of those, but if we take a look at, say, like some of the moving averages, we all know that the 200-week moving average is a good indicator for selling. And what is the 200-week move? Well, let's just take a look here. Here's the 20. Here's the 50. 100, 150. I never was a big believer in TA and levels until I was starting to listen to Ivan on tech. And he actually came on the show and we did a giveaway for his program. But what he said, and he was right, is that it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, just like the 4-year cycle. All the traders look at these levels and they think, okay, if it's above a specific level, mostly like 20-week, it's an expensive product. If it's below the 200-week, it's a cheap product. And when it's the cheap product, which would be, wow, $58,000, people will be buying like crazy. I can see that. Wow, the 150 week is 69, which we are getting there. 77K. Huh. Interesting. Interesting stuff. All right. Ben Cohen is right. He got some things right. Ivan is right. Yeah. I'm going to take, let's not go crazy. He's pretty good. He's a good guy. He makes me laugh. Those thumbnails, just, I don't know. I don't know who does his thumbnails, but they need a raise. Let's see. And Johnny says, as Supreme Court rules against tariffs, we will have life-changing buying opportunities. You know, it'll be a big bargain ship taken away from the administration, but all the money that went into those companies, hopefully it'll flow back to the individual retail buyer, and they can use that to do whatever they do, which unfortunately will probably be to pay for health insurance because it's out of the world crazy high now. Life is a scam. Life is good. It's just seeing what is actually good out there. This isn't all this stuff that we talk about and all the funds and all the different price appreciation. This is just like, just helps us to live the life that we want to live, whatever that life is. And that's it. You know, they say that, you know, Bitcoin can give you everything you want. Bitcoin, it's not about just holding on to it forever and you know, holding on to the ring like my precious. Bitcoin is freedom. And when you use that freedom, that means that you at some point will sell it, and you will sell it to fuel the lifestyle that you want, whatever that lifestyle is. That's why I have these rules. And the last rule is take profits. It does no good to round trip continuously if you are working on a 9-to-5 job that is sucking your soul out of your body. That's why you invest. So you can take those profits and you can do the things that you really want to do. Just remember that. All right. Epstein files, bloodbath, health is true wealth. Yeah. A healthy person has 1,000 wishes. A sick person only has one. So yeah. A lot of YouTubers have gone silent. I don't know why. This is like the time everybody needs a little bit of a wake up and a little slap to the face. Like, look, I know it sucks. It's awful. You know, the price is going down, but there's two ways to look at it, right? You can look at it and go like, this is the worst thing of all time. Or you can say, okay, you know, there's no double spend. Jeffrey Epstein didn't come out and he's not Satoshi Nakamoto. I think we're going to be okay for a bit. BlackRock still believes in it. Nation states still believe in it. Michael Saylor is still buying. Institutions are still buying. It's not falling off the face of the planet. Gold, for Pete's sakes, silver went down 35% yesterday. You know how much Bitcoin went down? Like 6%. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. There's a nice little trade-off between gold, silver, and Bitcoin. And for the ones that have gone silent, that's fine. They're probably sick and tired of talking about altcoins, which I still believe there are a place for some altcoins. And those are the best altcoins. Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron. You guys know why I say that. But Bitcoin should be, you know, I think it should be part of your portfolio. I can't give financial advice, but it's part of mine. But my portfolio is Bitcoin, Binance, Ethereum, Solana, Tron, a little bit. I've got a little bit of gold in my IRA, but it's mostly crypto. And then real estate. And I got some stocks that I like to dabble around with. And I just, you know, that's it. So it's going to be all right. I got to tell you, if I had a dime for every time I felt like, damn, maybe this is it. I remember this thing called the coronavirus? Oh, it was a big thing back in the day. And it was supposed to wipe out 50% of the population. And it was going to be like, you know, zombie land. And everything was going to just be eradicated. And of course, Bitcoin was the dumbest thing you could possibly hold because no one's going to need that when we're in the apocalypse and mutants are roaming the planet. And you're just trying to make it by. And then, of course, you know, went down to $3,000 and some people bought it. Most didn't. And everything turned around. And now here we are again. And I remember the same thing in 2018. So it's just like I'm in the Matrix or something. Dips rule the world. Mike's not entertained. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? I don't know, but I bet you Kalshi knows. Show us your statements. That's not ever going to happen. 15K Bitcoin would be heaven. That'd be tough. I think that'd be tough for a lot. 10-year, and that's a great one. Let's just leave it on that. 10-year retirement plan, Bitcoin will fund it. Just all agree that we're going to be here for the long haul and everything's going to be just fine. Anyhow, that's it for today. If you like today's video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that great stuff. Tomorrow, Sunday, my man Jerry V. Hall will be here, and we'll probably talk about a little AI, a little gold and silver maybe, and then probably some AI crypto plays. But I'll let Jerry decide on that one. Anyhow, that's it. Thanks so much, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's a beautiful day here in Puerto Rico. Anyhow, have a good one. See you guys in the next one. Adios.